mean, in all honesty, when Will said that we really tried to kill this early on, we had those really tough life conversations on day 2.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from across the entire spectrum of non-monogamy to hear their fascinating stories. We strive to bring guests on the show who have a healthy approach to non-monogamy. However, it's important to remember that everyone does it a little bit differently, and the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we produce this show for entertainment purposes only. Please be aware that we aren't doctors or therapists. Consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 101.
Monday! Wow.
What?
We almost forgot that.
I know.
We technically did forget it.
We had to go back and edit this in.
And we only did it because one of our esteemed listeners told us the only reason they listen to our show is because of the Monday part.
But I remembered at the end, so you're welcome.
We remembered. It was 70-30.
Anyway.
I think that joke is later on.
It is later on in the intro. People aren't going to understand.
We're referencing jokes that haven't happened yet to you, but have happened to us.
Yeah, this is not good. Anyway, we're Fit and Emma, and today we have an interview with Brandy and Will. They reached out to us actually not that long ago, pretty soon.
Pretty not that long ago.
That was terrible English. They reached out to us relatively recently. How about that?
That's better. You're getting closer.
And they have a super cool story because they started non-monogamy almost at the very beginning of their relationship.
Yeah, not that long ago. And also within that same time frame, they've launched an online store focused on helping people in the lifestyle find sexier clothing and gifts and all sorts of stuff. So it's, I guess you don't have to be in the lifestyle.
No, it's just fun.
You could be a friend of the lifestyle because their website is friendsofls.com. Anyway, this is their story, and it's really fun to hear how they kind of got into it pretty much right off the bat and how they've sort of navigated it the last not that long.
Yeah. And just so you know, they also gave any listener 10% off of their store, and the code to use is Emma. You can also find links in the show notes on our webpage.
One quick disclaimer about this. I don't know why, Emma and I were having a rough morning. And
at the start of this interview?
We were off to a clunky start, but we salvaged it pretty quick. So don't blame Will and Brandy. It wasn't on them. That was on Emma.
Oh, just on me?
Well, I'm just going to say it was like 70-30.
Yeah, well, we aren't perfect all the time.
It was actually 50-50.
Okay.
You're welcome for bailing you out.
I think it was 70-30 the other way around.
Well,
okay.
We'll have to talk about that off camera.
Off camera. Okay, the other 2 quick announcements. We had our December Patreon Q&A video call last night.
How'd it go?
It was awesome.
We assume there was lots of people. We're recording this on Sunday morning, so we don't know. But thank you for all 700 of you that showed up. It was amazing.
No, seriously, thank you to everyone who showed up and contributed. It was awesome talking to all of you, and we have a blast doing these every month. Our next one will be in January. The date will be announced probably in a few weeks.
Woo woo.
Okay. Yeah, exciting.
What's the next one? We have a holiday survey.
Yeah, we partnered with One Condoms to do a fun holiday survey. There's no
purpose.
Fun. Yeah.
But we did lie last week when we said you get nothing for it. We learned actually after they send out the survey that you get 10% off My One or One Condoms if you fill out the survey and submit it. And it's just kind of fun stuff, and they're going to publish some of them, I think, on their social media. So go spread some holiday cheer and holiday misfortune, as it were.
Yeah, it's really quick. It won't take very long. And the other thing,
it could if you tell really long stories.
I guess, yeah. If you tell really long stories, it could take a little while to type that all
Not that
out.
any of us do that.
Guilty. But what I was going to say is if you don't know what My One condoms are, they're custom fit condoms. And so you can go onto their website and print out a measuring tool and measure yourself and order the correct
Your penis.
size. That's
if you have a penis.
Implied. Yes, if you have a penis. And order your custom fit condom.
Yep. I'm a G22.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not really.
No, they don't even know what that is unless they're familiar.
They'll have to go look it up. Anyway, I'm not actually a G22. But
okay, let's go talk to Brandy and Will. Okay, yay.
Yay. Well, welcome, Will and Brandy. Brandy and Will is the proper order. I'm sorry. I messed that
Woman
up.
comes first, and when it's the same sex, we do alphabetically. Just our little system.
So thank you for taking some time, kind of short notice, to chat with us. We're excited to get you worked into the schedule and hear all about your story. Do you mind, for people who don't know who you are, introducing yourselves?
So I'm Brandy.
And I'm Will.
And so we have been in a lifestyle.
Years. We started about 8 months ago.
8 months ago. Really love it. Love the people in it are amazing. And so we've currently decided to open Friends of LS, a store made just for the LS community.
Yeah, so it's an online store.
Absolutely. Yep, it's all online.
Yeah, selling all sorts of fun things. We've been poking around at the glow-in-the-dark stuff this morning. And so I'm going to go ahead and just wildly guess late 30s because I'm conditioned to guess low.
Yes, you guessed low. Congratulations.
Very good. Yeah, mid-40s. Yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. Well, you look like you're in your early 30s. How about that?
Thanks.
You really do.
Thank you.
I laugh because I'm laughing at his
I've guessed high before.
Terrible guessing on ages.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll never guess age or weight. And it's the same with any gender. I'm the worst. I'll miss it by 25 years. The wrong way. So
are you 7?
Like, okay, well, you look 12. Everybody's 12. Yeah, I just don't
awesome.
But yeah, no, I'm 47 and Brandy's not. She's about 2 or 3 years younger than me.
I'm 44.
Perfect.
And how long have you two been together?
Almost a year.
And so you jumped into the whole swinging thing pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, total fluke. Completely happened on accident. For sure, for me, I never thought about it in my life. Barely even knew what it was.
I was going to say, no background?
No, I had to Google it to make sure that I knew what it was. And it was, you want to talk about knocking you over? We were on vacation together with our families, just, her son and Brandy, and then I have 2 boys. And so we'd gone to Hawaii. We spent a little over a week there, had a great trip. And it was about 3 or 4 days after we come back, and we were playing around, talking about role-playing ideas and some things that she likes. And I didn't know a whole lot about it. So while we're texting, I'm literally Googling role-playing ideas, literally. And I copied the link on my phone and texted it to her on 3 different links and just said, "What do you like?" And so she comes back and says 2, 3, and 12. So the first link that I'll look at only had 9 items. I'm like, well, I don't see a 12. And she goes, no, the second one you sent. So I'll pull it up, and I don't remember what 2 and 3 were, but number 12 was swinging. And I said, you're kidding. And she says, no, I think it's pretty intriguing. And I said, in fantasy or in real life? And she says, in real life. And I had gallons of blood pumping up my neck instantly, literally instantly, that lasted for days. It was so incredible. I never thought about it. And so we had always been very straightforward and very open from the first time that we met. And I like to live my life that way. Very free, very open at work, everywhere, and just really straight. So we had started our relationship that way and felt like this was a very, very healthy relationship already. And we'd only been seeing each other a couple months at that point. And then all of a sudden for us, it opened up a new level of freedom that I didn't know you could have. So fast forward about 2 weeks later, we're Well, we were getting ready to go to the club. So at the time, this was just one of those freedom moments that I wasn't expecting to have ever in a relationship. So we're at the mall getting ready to go to the club that night because I left my clothes here at the house. So
did you really?
Yeah, all of them. Other than what I was wearing, all of them.
The hanging bag.
Yeah. The whole thing. So, about $600 worth of clothes got double bought. So now I have duplicates. So we're at the mall in Houston. We just walk into the mall. We've been in the mall about 8 seconds. And this girl walks by and she turns and looks and she says, "It's a nice ass, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, it's actually." So up to that point, like, when are you able to do that in life? So for me, that was when the big benefits kind of started to play out. It's huge, because then it's real candor, real honesty in a relationship, more than I ever thought I could have. So for me, that's the best.
Well, I'm just curious, when she brought that up, there's a lot of guys that might be like concerned, like, "Oh, I'm not good enough. Why would you want to do? We've only been dating 2 months, and you're already wanting to look outside of our relationship." Was there any of those concerns?
Never. There's never, whether it's with guys or girls, never. I mean, Brandy, I don't know. I mean, we have continued to grow in our closeness, but I've never felt that way, not one time. And I think she does a pretty good job of, even before the lifestyle, of making sure that I know how she feels about me, and hopefully I reciprocate. But no, it's never been an issue for me at all. I actually love it when she does that. So we've really gone in a relatively short period of time. We've gone a lot of different kind of ups and downs, and the downs were really shallow and the ups were intense. But they've all been focused around what she likes.
Yeah.
Whatever works for her is a huge turn on for me. And that's been the thing that I've learned is that's not something that I really ever sat around and thought about doing. So for me, I can come up with fantasies, but then I would always ask her, "So is this really something that you would enjoy?" And she would just tell me, "Yeah, not really," or "Yeah, it's okay." And so then I would say, "Well, what is it you want?" And that's a huge turn on, just to hear her talk to me and say, "Well, I'm really turned on by the touch of a woman." Huge for me. Even if it was a guy, and we've had experiences enough now that I really like it. So there was 2 things that I've read over the course of the last few months in different profiles of people in the lifestyle that made an impact on me. One was a couple saying we're a low mileage couple, and I thought, okay, I never thought of it that way. So we're low mileage, but love it, and we've made a study out of this. So I've spent hundreds of hours studying it, almost on an altruistic level, just to kind of find out if my experiences are the norm and what it does to a marriage and to a relationship, because our experience has been incredibly healthy. And then, of course, the second thing that I've loved about it is kind of what it's done for us in the bedroom and out of the bedroom, and in the world where we're able to kind of be more open and free. And everything with this is freedom.
Yeah.
Well, communication, right? So it forces communication about things that you never, I don't know, I would have never considered discussing. Will's that open anyways in every aspect of our life. Like, our communication is super open. So partnership wise, even if you set LS aside, he's that way. And so it's really amazing then when he texts me. So at the time we weren't living together, so we were texting back and forth, and I picked it out of the list, and I'd never heard of it either. But that previous New Year's Eve, a couple had invited me, kind of go basically as their unicorn. I did not understand that at the time, but I was super intrigued, and it was to a club party at the time, and I didn't go. I didn't feel comfortable enough yet, and I didn't fully understand it, but I kind of got the edge of it. But I was intrigued by it. So when he sent me the list, it was just a really easy way to throw it out there and kind of get his take on it. Take it or leave it, I would have been okay. It wasn't something I was, set on doing, but it worked for us. And then we've kind of had...
But we'd already built this foundation of candor.
Yeah. So it was there.
Painful candor. We wanted that from the very beginning, almost to the point where we laughed at each other saying we're trying to kill the relationship early on, which was probably true. Yeah. If it was going to fracture and break, let's do it early.
Yeah.
And so this was almost an extension of that, but now we had this strong foundation that wasn't going to get moved. And so she kind of felt that freedom to say, look, I think I'm going to tell you something that I've always wanted. And I've never met a guy that would allow me to do that without whatever.
Having that reaction of, well, am I not enough? Am I not doing this? So I think that's probably the one thing that I've never, ever considered. Like, I don't think about that piece. Obviously, you have the ups and downs and you can term it whatever you want. You read a ton of stuff. Well, I'm not jealous, but I just have this feeling. Well, I'm going to assume that's jealousy, just for lack of a better term. And I think it's natural. And then you kind of work your way through it. And it helps you discuss why. And then other scenarios, it's even 20 steps forward and bolder, and I have zero of those feelings. And so it has to do with the people and the actual interactions, I think, that you're having. And we learned that early on. When Will does something and he does like it, he'll go in 1,000%. So we maybe weren't fully prepared, and we learned a couple of lessons. They're like, oh, so here's, a really good lesson to learn. And that is who you're with is extremely, extremely important.
Right. Yes.
But never once, I don't think, have I questioned, what we have together. And if anything, it definitely makes it stronger. So yeah, accidental, and we did it in the very beginning. But it's kind of cool because we've done this together.
Right.
It's not like we did it or I did it or he did. It's something we've done from the very beginning together all the way. So it's very much ours as a couple, and I love that part.
Well, yeah, and you ramped it up pretty fast. I mean, from exchanging a text about it to 2 weeks later, you were at a club, right? That's pretty fast turnaround.
Yeah, but you should also look. I mean, you're talking about in a 2-week period of time, easily 100 hours, 200 hours of research. Insane.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, because most people would look at that and be like, well, you don't even know each other that well. It's only been a few months and now you're moving into this, but you've looked at it as, well, let's explore this together and use it as the opportunity to learn more about each other through exploring this.
Sure. So, in all honesty, when Will said that we really tried to kill this early on, we had those really tough life conversations on day 2. Like, I'm not kidding. We took every relationship from our histories, what we didn't want, and we threw it at each other very, very quickly, because both of us were not interested in wasting any more time with the wrong person.
We both spent 24 years being married.
And
so
unhappy, not miserable, but unhappy. And so I'd rather be alone.
Yeah,
he wanted to be alone if it wasn't right. So we literally ran the gamut of really serious conversations in a very short time frame, because people look at us all the time, because we moved in together from January. I was living here late June, moving my child, and which was unheard of in my circle.
Like within 6 months,
that way. Oh yeah, I'm making all these huge life choices that I would never ever make, and for him as well. I mean, we're talking about our kids and merging. It was a really big deal. We were super and still very comfortable. And all of that because we forced big, big, quick decisions. And this fit, I think, perfectly into that. But we get to experience it new together. So, of course, there's been, you kind of have those really great things. And then you have those where you kind of tilt your head and go, well, that didn't work out exactly the way we wanted.
Yeah. So it's kind of safe to say that 2019 has been a pretty epic year for both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a risk taker, but the people that really know me know that it's not a risk, because I'm very calculated, and I'm a student of whatever it is. I'll go to college on it, and so I don't consider it a risk. You eliminate, every question you could possibly come up with, and then you make a decision. And so I'm the guy that when we go, we go. And most people don't operate that way. Brandy does not operate that way. She'll experience in samples. And most of the experiences that she's had, I've already researched. And so that has been really interesting for us. But then when you pair that with the fact that I'm super laid back. So intense, but laid back. So I roll with anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So if we look up and I think we're in LS and we're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to try this out, and we get there and she's like, no, I don't think so. Or if we just kind of feel like it might be a no, then I could care less. I'll back off. We'll go, because everything is about the experience and the read on what you're going to get out of the relationship and what you're able to provide to other people in the lifestyle. And then all of a sudden you get in the lifestyle and you start meeting people. And so one of our closest friends in Houston really, really like them as humans, like as just people, love these people. And I picked it out off their profile and a picture on what I read. And I told Brandy, I said, these people are real. I love them. Absolutely love them. Never met them. They were friends of ours on Cassidy. Went to a takeover in Houston in May.
Yes.
And we had been there maybe 24, 36 hours, had a great time. And we're going to breakfast. We're walking to breakfast. We're going to a meeting.
Yeah,
they were eating breakfast. We were going to a meeting with Tom and Bunny. And I just saw them and I come by and I said something about, I didn't realize that assholes still ate breakfast or something along those lines. Just a pretty shitty thing to say. And I do that all day to everybody, to my boss, to senators, to congressmen. They all get the same treatment. So they looked and I just said, you guys are connections with us on Cassidy and really love your profile. Seem like cool people. Hopefully we can run into each other. And I left. And that's it. We just cussed them out a little bit, berated them, and walked away, went into the class. And so about 2 minutes later, they finish up their breakfast. They come sit beside us, and we just hit it off. And the greatest people, literally the greatest people in the lifestyle we've ever met.
Yeah.
Love them.
By far.
Love them. They could call us up right now, 4 hours away, and say we have a flat tire, and I'll walk out of anything to go help them out. Just cool people.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, it's awesome to hear that there's something that we had got into this for originally was to make great friends and friendships and relationships, and that you're finding that, and finding that early on is really awesome.
Right.
And
yeah. So we had a couple of misadventures, and then we learned that personalities and some things become extremely important.
Yeah.
Super quick. And
how did you how did you kind of navigate that?
The misadventure part?
The misadventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that, and we've heard this from a lot of people, and because we've talked about some of our misadventures, which were, some of them were fairly extreme, and people are like, well, if we had bad experiences like that, we wouldn't be here today, right? And so for people to overcome those and then still be here is probably encouraging to hear.
Yeah, so this is, and not only was the misadventure, if that's what you want to call it, it's a really nice way to say it was a fuck up.
Yep.
Right? So from my I want Brandy to tell the story because she'll tell it better. But I'll tell you from my perspective, not only as a man, but as her partner, I felt her. And that's where I feel like it really brought us closer together. But we were at this point to where there was a period of time where we both kind of said, hey, I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt us. If this is going to hurt us, fuck it. And so it was a real fuck it moment for us. And we pulled off and cooled down for about a week. And it was about a week later, I called her up and I said, I want you to look at the benefits of the lifestyle and look at everything that's done for us as a couple. Look what it's done for us just as human beings. And it's taken the level of just pure honesty and transparency and quadrupled it beyond whatever I thought it could be. And I said, so before you make a hard decision on what we're going to do and how we're going to reapproach this, look at the value added and don't let one bad experience ruin that. So that being said, if that's a fair enough preface, you can tell them what happened.
Absolutely. Because when you first kind of get into this, we weren't sure. You don't know how to do it. Like there's not like some prescribed plan that says, there's takeovers and events and, you just have to feel your way around. So we ended up at a club and we'd been talking to a couple and Will does most of that. I prefer it that way. Just kind of, it's not my thing. And
she tells me what she wants
And
I'll find it.
Literally.
So if she comes up and she says, not even in the lifestyle, I want this in our life, done. It'll happen. And so in the lifestyle, she says, I'm looking for a female experience would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Done. It'll happen. And so that's what we did.
Yeah. And so the guy was like, great, my wife too. She just wants to she's never, done anything with another woman. She wants to try that. So we kind of set it up. We knew they were going to be there. And the whole premise going in was sort of her and I. And he's like, well, I don't usually ever play. I just kind of watch. We're really new at this.
No, he said, I don't play. I only want to watch.
I only want to watch.
So I was like, great. Sounds good.
So
let's just meet up and see what happens.
Didn't exactly go that way at all.
No, within like 30 seconds, he's taking her on the dance floor, which is fine. I don't like to dance. But he's taking her on the dance floor. So I'm here with his wife. And so then I kind of wait him out. And I'm sitting there at the table with his wife. And then they come back. And I'm thinking, like, Brandy and her are supposed to hang out and see if there's a match.
So the night continued pretty much in that manner. And then kind of towards the end, her and I go upstairs and there's like the little sections off beds or rooms or whatever. And we kind of start. But
prior to that, I'm making out with his wife.
Which is fine.
So he's making out with Brandy.
Yep.
And it was different. It was completely different than what we thought. And so we weren't prepared because we hadn't talked about it. I didn't have an issue with it, and she didn't have an issue with it.
No.
But we had never talked about it. And so what we had talked about was meeting this couple and this possible experience. They were there. And so, so it's kind of progressing through the night, and we're checking in on each other, like, you okay? And we're like, yeah, we're okay. And so then, we go upstairs and
so once we got up there, though, so it was kind of her and I. And the guys were just kind of sitting and watching.
Yep.
And then they kind of had a thing of, that they were going to kind of join in. And so
her husband had said, hey, we should join in, but maybe just keep our clothes on. And so I went along with it, knowing that really wasn't what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And we'd already kind of crossed several other boundaries that we weren't going to do. It's not like it was a problem for either one of us.
No.
But for that situation, that wasn't what we had talked about.
Yeah, you kind of like played it out in your head and talked about what you thought it was going to be like ahead of time. And then going in, all of this other stuff happened and you were okay with it. But it was like, okay, we had never had this conversation. What if this might happen?
Well, yeah.
Well, two things. That for sure. But also the fact that Brandy had said initially, I'd like to experience this. What do you think? Great, I'll do it. So I didn't feel like I had the backbone or the spine to say, love the fact that you like Brandy. I like her too. I love the fact that you want to dance with her. She's hot as hell. I don't like to dance, so go have fun. Could have said that, but I didn't. And then the other thing was, he keeps putting his wife on me, which she was attractive. And so she and I are hanging out, and then she's rubbing on me, and it's fine. And Brandy seemed fine with it. And we should have had just a mini timeout, either just Brandy and I, or possibly he and I, because he and I had a good connection. He's a nice guy. And it was a good kind of guy camaraderie, but I still let it go too far when I should have said, hey, man, really like you. You're pretty cool. But we had kind of come here to see if the girls got along. Maybe something will happen in a week or a month or whatever. I'm great with it. But I didn't do that. And so then, and nothing happened. The girls played soft and had fun. But it was after that I was disappointed in myself. And then we began to kind of feel like, hey, that really kind of sucked. It sucked from them, and it sucked from me not being able to control the situation. So I learned a lot about that, a lot about myself, and learned to still be able to relax and enjoy the experience, but at the same time, understand in certain situations what my role should be.
Well, and being new, you don't want to be the one that goes, oh, hold out, stop, time out. Like I'm suddenly not comfortable, because then I didn't want to send the message to him that I just didn't want to do this anymore, or I was jealous, or that I didn't, I didn't want to stop it, because when the guys came up and were like, hey, we're going to play too, I was like, oh, okay, sure. I'm not going to be that person. Now I would have no issue going, nope, not comfortable with it. I'm just not. Because that's what actually kind of, set us on the track, is neither one of us were willing to go, stop. we're just not there. It's not you guys. It's just, we haven't discussed this. So you kind of took that. And when we left, because it sort of offset us a little bit, I did that reaction of, if this is going to screw around with our relationship, forget it.
Right.
Like, I'm not putting us at risk. But Will's all in. And he's like, and that's when he, a week later, was like, I want you to consider one experience that didn't work out perfectly versus all these other really great positive things. And you got to looking at it, and we realized it was just communication and something we didn't handle correctly. The other, with another couple that we just weren't prepped for. And it's okay. In fact, it's highly important that you just go, nope, stop. We have to stop it right here. And then pretty much since then, it's all been super positive and funny. And we just sort of set our own boundaries and limits. And if we feel like we're not quite into this scenario, we just be like, hey, you guys have a great night. And we go off together, and, it heightens whatever it is that we're doing together. And we found takeovers and groups to be much more our setting.
Right.
So have you been in situations then that you have felt more comfortable than speaking up and saying no? Since then, you've learned from what happened the first, I guess not necessarily speaking up when you were uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple of times where we're just, the crowd isn't right. And they're all beautiful, gorgeous, amazing people
from all around the world,
all over. And we're just like, it's, there's super just cool. Something. So right
she comes up, we're with the couple that we were telling you about, and they had a ton of other people in that we had already met throughout the night. And we're back at it wasn't a hotel room. It was like 25 hotel rooms combined, and they have the lights go on, and it's just super fun. And we're with these great people, and then more and more keep coming in, and we're not doing anything. We're just kind of hanging out, talking.
Yeah, everybody's just
and I don't know. She comes up and she's just kind of leaning on me, and I said, "So you want to just kind of go back to the room?" And she said, "Yeah, I think so." So there was one girl in particular that Brandy over the course of the weekend was super interested in. And it was right about the time that girl walks in. And I said, "It's up to you." And so she just kind of walked over to one of the doors. And I said, "Done. We're walking out." So we walked out, went back to our room, and probably arguably had one of the best experiences of our life. That was well in excess of 12 to 14 hours. Just the two of us.
Right. Yeah.
So that's, for lots of reasons. So everything builds on strength between us as a couple. Even experiences like that, to where we say, "No, I think we're going to go and leave."
Right.
Even though this is a cool scenario and super fun. Yeah. And then we come back, and all of the things that we did right flooded us, all the experiences that we had just hanging out with people. And then all the things that could have been actually played out in the bedroom. So it was fun.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Was that couple that sort of that off experience where it was supposed to be the two women, was that your first time meeting another couple, or was?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the first time meeting another couple.
So when you say meeting them, you just mean
in person,
like intentionally meeting somebody?
Yeah.
Because we had met other people, but yeah. So that was the first time that I'd ever seen her. I'd seen her kiss women before.
Yes.
But it was the first time I'd seen her with another guy. That didn't bother me at all. I actually enjoyed just watching her. And still to this day, I like it when she tells me, whether it's a guy or a girl, this is the type of person I'd like, or if she sees somebody, and I yearn for that. I'm always wanting her to say that scenario or that person or that couple. It's a huge turn on for me. Love that. So that I liked. Yeah. But yeah, that was our first physical contact experience.
Yeah. Well, I guess where I was going with that is I think that, the ability to be a little more fluid, like there's a lot of people who would hear what you were describing and say like, "Oh, well, that's not a big deal to us."
Right.
But at the same time, maybe they've been doing it a year or 2 or 3 or 10. And for them, they can go into a situation and say like, "Well, we're happy if it's this, we're happy if it's this, we're happy if it's this." But for you guys, right, this was your first time meeting anybody, and you had kind of laid out in your head, like, because it's our first time, we're going to play within these parameters. And and again, not that it was wrong that you went outside of them or that it bothered either of you, but it was just that it was happening and that you've probably felt out of control with it, right? That
right.
Very much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the physical act of what happened. It was the lack of control of it, I think.
Yeah. And tremendous relief because it was just the girls were the only ones playing. I mean, he was making out with her and touching her and things like that, but nothing there, there wasn't any intercourse other than just the girls. And so for me, it was a relief when the club's getting ready to close down. And so it was kind of time anyway. But walking out of there, I was like, I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
And so that part of it was me letting myself down more than anything.
Yeah. And was this at the 2-week mark when you went to the club for the first time, or was this a different experience?
Different experience. Yeah. So this was like club number 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And she had done other things. Like she had kissed other people and done other things and at different clubs throughout Houston or Austin or San Antonio.
So what was the first? So 2 weeks in, you send a text message. Then 2 weeks later, you're at your first club.
Right.
I guess what is that experience like? Because I have a hunch. Well, I don't want to predict.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Those are still one of my favorites.
And met two of the coolest people ever.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing people as humans. Like awesome. Would love to see them. They spent like 3 or 4 times trying to call us over. So he was pretty cool, and he comes up and he was talking about Brandy and her body, and he's like, man, she's just gorgeous. And I said, well, I appreciate that. It's very nice. And so 2 or 3 times they'd invited us to come over, and we'd talk to them, and then we'd go back to our table, and we were very comfortable right where we were. I was perfectly comfortable just experiencing the lifestyle. It was our first experience. It was in Houston at Klutz. And we go back and we're walking around the opposite side of it, where kind of the action is prior to midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. And they have movie theater chairs. So we sat down and we're watching this movie, which was almost comical for us. Yeah. We're just kind of sitting there laughing at it. And so I just began to go down on her, and because I wanted to, not because of anything else. And there wasn't anybody else in there at the time. And then at some point, I think I look up and there's everybody in the club was right there, all around us. And I had no idea and really didn't give a shit. So I didn't care. And there was a single guy that was like perfectly positioned right in front of her, just waiting on, a little, waiting on his cue. But I loved the whole experience. Yeah. And we would go back in and to the other side and have a couple of drinks off our bottle and go back over there. And then, so we had that experience there, and it was amazing. Loved it.
Yeah.
And a few other experiences that night, but just with the two of us, but very voyeurism-ish. And I didn't give a shit. I loved it.
Yeah.
So did she, and it was hot.
Yeah. It was at our pace. Because we never done anything like that, much less doing something in public or who were going to watch you do it. And obviously the sounds and the mood and the whole, they do a really great job of that. So we thoroughly enjoyed that. And we met the other couple kind of towards the end of the night, and they've been in it a while. And they have a totally different purpose. Their purpose is to find her single males. Right. That's their purpose. So it's kind of cool. You hear everybody has a different version. I know there's 1,000 definitions that run around, and I'm not much on definitions. I think everybody finds their thing, whatever that is. I think that's amazing. And so from that experience, we're like, great. So we tried a couple other clubs, but.
So on that same couple though, I was at the time I used to smoke. And I'd gone outside to smoke. I don't smoke anymore, which is a totally different episode. You could do an hour episode on that. It's funny. It was a dare or whatever you'd call it. Anyway, so I go outside to have a cigarette. She goes with me. And so Rick was there with Brandy, and so, which is fine. I mean, I didn't care. I was 100 feet away. And they had a conversation when I was weighed where he wanted her to show her breast.
Very kindly. Because he doesn't play a whole lot either. He's basically there for his wife, which is amazing. But he very kindly says, do you think you can show me your boobs? And I was like, I can, but I'm just going to wait till Will comes back because we have like this.
He said he had asked me.
Yeah. I was like, you have to, well, I have no problem with it, but we have this thing where it needs to be in proximity to each other. That's sort of a rule, so to speak, that we put in place that we discussed. And he was like, great. So sure enough.
So we come back, but he doesn't ask me.
No.
So she tells me what he says, but he's not asking.
He never asked him.
So I waited about an hour and we're still hanging out with him. And I really like the guy. He's just full and gas, kind of burly, nice guy. I like him. And so I just said, well, hey, if you're going to ask her, but you're not going to ask me, what's that about? And he goes, oh, well, I don't know. I said, well, you want to see him? I'll let you see him, but you have to ask. So he asked. Like, all right, well, there you go. So, and then he ends up playing with them and grabbing her butt and all this other stuff. And it was fun. And that was on our first night. Could care less. It was fun. It was super comfortable. And a blast. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, well, I think that's awesome. And I think the thing that I like about it is one of the things that we've told people in the past is, like, if you're thinking about doing this, like, a good place to start is going to a club, but just going for the two of you, right? Like, if it can be all about you. And the only caveat I throw on there is, like, you don't have to sit around with, like, resting bitch face and be mean to people when they come around and be like, we're not here to meet other people. Like, you can just chat and, like, have fun with it. And, like, you never know who you're going to
be. Yeah, probably a bad idea to do that.
Yeah. But you certainly can. It kind of opens you up. You at least get to see and experience and kind of put your toe in the water, I guess, so to speak. We did that 3 or 4 times, and then we jumped straight into a takeover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
like a weekend, a hotel takeover.
A hotel takeover in Houston. And it was phenomenal.
Greatest experience ever.
Oh, yeah. By far one of our favorites. And that's where we met the other couple down in Houston. And
so what do you think? 5 or 6 clubs, 8 clubs, something like that? We did quite a few. There weren't a lot of weekends we didn't go.
Just trying to figure it all out and kind of do that. And then we figured out that's occasionally would be great, but it's not necessarily how it works.
Yeah.
I find it to be, and not in a bad way, but people kind of form their groups, so to speak. And then the takeover was great because there's just a wide variety of people from all over.
But I've also said on the takeovers, the number one difference in the takeover and a club is your watch. Your watch shifts to a calendar. And so if you've ever been to a club, whether you admit it or not, if there's pressure on the clock because they close at 3 or at 2 or at 4 or whatever it is. So it's not a finite period of time.
Well, a lot of times people don't arrive till like 10 or 11 at night at least. So it only gives you a few hours time frame to like get to know somebody and decide to make that jump if you want to.
Right. Yeah. So in our life, in our day-to-day life, we don't have time to go out twice a week or even once a month always, and when we do, we can take advantage of it, but it's challenging. So at least for us, maybe if there was a club 10 miles away and we were able to go every Friday or every Saturday, maybe get to know people that way. But on a takeover LAPA weekend, take it off and just relax and enjoy the experience. And you have much, much more time with the same collection of people. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was the whole difference in all of it. It was just kind of getting to know other people without having to worry about the clock. You worry more about the calendar. You have much more time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I was curious, you mentioned a second ago that you had said when you first got going on it, you were going pretty much every weekend.
Yes.
At least, when it ramped up. How were you able to manage like doing that? And you both have kids and presumably jobs and all sorts of other stuff. How are you able to manage that schedule? Because I know that's another complaint people have. And I'm sure there was a handful of people.
Yeah, no, it was real simple.
Like, these guys.
No, it was real simple. It was literally sleep less for us because and at the time we lived 2.5 hours apart. So, but the clubs are where she was, and so my boys are teenage. Had been single father for years with custody of the boys, and so it would be like a Wednesday night or Friday night or whatever, and I just tell them I'm going to take off to San Antonio. I'm going to stay the night with Brandy. I'll be back in the morning. Oldest boy is almost 20 years old. They're both driving, so it's a little different situation. But yeah, it was literally just sleep less. And there was a couple of days in there that we'd go to bed at 2:30, I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive 2.5 hours, go straight into work, work shift, come home. As soon as I walk in the house, cook dinner for the boys, hang out, talk a little bit, talk to her, go to bed, catch up on sleep.
Yeah, we would literally take, so I have the youngest 11-year-old, and we'd go to a baseball game, and I would be laughing
several times.
Like we mom it up. Like
I would drive to San Antonio to watch our youngest boy play baseball, and knowing that she's got her little 1-ounce dress covering 0.05% of her body hanging up in the closet, and she's wearing a trench coat out in July.
Yeah. So literally we're sitting at the baseball game and we know it's about to occur, but we do baseball game and get him home, get him in the bed, situated. My mom has lived with us and had it the whole time. So I get him in bed, do the whole mom thing 100%. And then he's secure. My mom's there. If something happens in the middle of the night, we take off, do that, come in. Nobody ever even knows you're gone. Like you're teenagers, except in a 40-year-old body. So it hurts way worse because you're just sleep deprived and you've had a couple of drinks and you get up the next morning and you go to work and you make a day of it. We haven't done that. Now it's pretty much takeovers or.
Well, we've found at least what works well for us. And so then it's just, we plan in advance, and instead I don't think we ever planned on, I'm not a party guy. I don't go out. So we never really planned on going to clubs long term, but we were trying to figure it out. And we'd have a certain venue that we liked, and we would say, look, I think it was just the wrong night. And so we'd literally search basketball games and say, well, I wonder if maybe the rodeo pulled the crowd down or the basketball game pulled the crowd down because it was a Friday. And then we would say, well, we really like this club, so let's go back next Saturday. So then the following Saturday, we'd try the same club but a different night. So really just tried to do different combinations before we eliminated.
So you're pretty strategic about it.
Oh, yeah, very much. I don't think we went to the same club the same night once.
No, definitely trying to just figure it out.
Right.
Because the online stuff is very, we didn't even realize there's all these sites and that you can,
tell them about Quiver. It's funny as hell.
So when he signed us up for Quiver the first time, because we didn't know about Cassidy or any of that, he finds the site and he signs us up, but I don't know how many days it went. He's like, man, nobody,
2 weeks.
Nobody likes us. We're getting no responses,
nothing.
0. And I was like, wow, man, they must be you just think to yourself,
we're
wow,
like
we're
lepers.
bad.
Nobody liked us. So I wasn't trolling, but I would like a couple of pictures a day. And I'm reading everybody's profiles and stuff like that. We're getting nothing.
0.
And so I'm fucking around with it one night, late, 11:30 at night. And it says something on there about paying. It's $100 for a year. I'm oh, hell, I'll do that. So I put my credit card in, pay for it immediately, 140 messages.
We didn't know you had to pay. I called Brandy. I'm like,
people don't hate us. You just have to fucking pay to get your emails.
Oh my God.
So all these people are like, you guys look great, look fun. I'm like, we're not lepers.
Yeah, so we felt so good about ourselves. You just pay. Got it. But we didn't know. We had no idea that you had to pay.
We didn't realize you had to put gasoline in your car to be able to drive. In this great car. Oh, we have to have gas. Sorry.
Yeah, so we literally figured all this out just blindly. And so that's kind of what the club thing was trying to do, is figure it out. So, yeah, that was never a long-term solution. And
true story.
Not something we could sustain with kids and family.
Yeah. You're just going to burn yourself out.
Yeah. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Not our style. So
right. When you had said earlier a few times, you guys are both very open and live your lives very transparently. Have you told family and friends about this side of life yet?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So I have one friend who is in it as a unicorn, and she is literally, I think, the only people that knows, and that's for our children,
right?
And his job, right? So he still works in an environment where I don't want that to be pressurized till the store takes off. So our ideal go right is to have the store together.
So tell them about the last day in Hawaii. Stand on the beach, looking at the water as the sun rose that morning.
Yeah. So we're about to leave, put the kids in the car and go. We've had this amazing week, and we're on the beach together. And he was talking basically that he'd always wanted to have passive income, is what he called
ultimate
it.
freedom. calendar.
And just to give him the freedom to live life however he wanted every single day. Like that is his goal in life. And for me, I'm very kind of on the opposite. I never even imagined anything like that. And over the next few months, it developed into business ideas. And when he and I get together, things tend to happen very rapidly and quickly. And we're like, oh, this is a great idea. And so we kind of started with some other ideas. And then I said, kind of my ultimate goal would be to own like a little lingerie / toy shop. Like that would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
every
but
day.
we're thinking bricks and mortar.
Yeah, I'm thinking actual store.
Never even thought about online. But we literally would think bricks and mortar, and we talked about it. And she has a friend that owns a couple.
And they're doing really great, like financially, and it's going great, but they're franchises and stuff. And so then, things kind of went through different renditions, and we ended up with the online store. And so I just have it in a different venue, but that goal is to make that passive income with the store together, to give us freedom to go and do events and sell stuff at events and kind of dual dip, whatever it is that we wish. And it's cool being here, with my kids, obviously, as we get the store going and stuff. So
yeah. And so I'm just curious, has your mom been curious at all or asked anything? Because you mentioned that she's living with you.
Super tough, right? Because when we make
wants to help. When
we make a sell in the store, our phones go ka-ching and kind of let you know that.
It's fucking hilarious. So everybody in the family, like we're all together, and both of our phones will go ka-ching, and it's the coolest thing. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, we're waking up and you hear a ka-ching. I'm like, that's a cool way to wake up.
Yeah.
So I'll be out mowing the yard or riding the lawnmower or whatever, and I'll come in and our oldest boy will be like, hey, Dad, you got a ka-ching. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So they don't really get it.
So it's under the guy. Cool. Well, so we do have the second store, right, where we sell the pets.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's where it's not taking off yet. So they assume it's that.
They assume we're selling dog collars, but we're selling her collars. So
we're, so they are, and we've got in our home, he's got a set of monitors and I have, and mine face the wall. And so everything that happens in LS.
And you see the wall behind us?
Yeah.
So these are our LS monitors. And then the other monitors are
and you learn to get really crafty and switch over because, of course the kids come straight to you and we don't, whatever. So we're juggling that a lot.
There'll be a point when we'll talk about it, but it's not now.
But until it's big and sustainable and we know for sure, and it's taking off nicely. We don't even want to, we're just not there. Our oldest, whatever, but we've got one in junior high and one in high school still. Let them get a little bit bigger. Otherwise, I don't think either one of us.
I could care less. Personally, I don't care. If whatever, a congressman or a local whatever comes up and says, hey, I heard, I'm like, yeah, the best thing that ever happened to me. So,
right.
Personally, I could care less. I think it's awesome.
Awesome. Well, do you mind talking a little bit about the store, like what it looks like? What was the inspiration? I mean, you kind of talked a little bit about the inspiration behind it, but how it's going, how you're operating it, and what people can find there.
So I'll talk about the inspiration and how it got started, and you talk about the store.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Perfect.
So this is an inadvertent plug. I don't mean it to be a plug, but it is. And it's the coolest thing in the world. There is a store. So I like anything positive, and I don't like to dress up, obviously. So I'm a jeans and t-shirts, boots and jeans t-shirt guy. And I like these shirts that are from Compete Everyday. It's CompeteEveryday.com. I've been buying from them for a long time. The CEO there has an amazing story. Had a really dark part in his life and didn't want to live, but he was writing sticky notes to himself on the mirror. And then he began to put those sticky notes on his shirt, and they're really cool. Some of them are, but they're all positive, faith over fear, just stuff like that. Just stuff that are good human shirts, like how to be a good human. He put them on t-shirts, and they were originally for himself. And then people would come up to him in the store and go, cool shirt, like it. So he would make them, and then he would make them for other people. And then he's this huge company, and it does really well. I've been buying from the guy for years. And there's another, and it's very high quality shirts. Love the shirts, like good material, good message, good service, good shipping. No clue what drop shipping was or what any of this stuff was. I didn't know anything about it. I just know I liked his shirts. I wanted to buy them, and they're not cheap, and I didn't care. And I'm also a patriot. So I like anything made in the U.S. if we can get it. And so then there's another company that makes a similar type of shirt that is more of a workout-driven thing with GoRuck. And I like their shirts, and I was buying their shirts online. So I started buying Brandy these shirts, the women version of women empowerment and things like that. So she and I were talking about it. This is post Hawaii, but by about a month or two, and I'm on Compete Every Day looking at the bottom, and it says powered by Shopify. And we had just talked about Shopify the day before, trying to figure out what it was and what all of this thing is and how you would actually do your LS store online, and was it possible? That's how it started. That's what launched it. Yeah. She and I sat down side by side on the couch, and within 3 to 4 minutes, I said, that's it. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what it is. This is the model, and this is how we're going to do it.
Well, and if you've ever tried to shop for a theme knot, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like it's
very hard, especially for guys. Really hard to find anything for guys.
There's nothing, and it's all over the place, and there's no really good way to search it. And I was like, so why don't we try and kind of put it all in a single place together and see what the community wants and needs? And, we've had people reach out and say, hey, if I have this theme knot, could you create a whole thing based around that?
Yeah, we create a whole folder just for one particular club, but open to the whole world.
Yeah. So I just started working on it. Like we just blindly walked into this, and it's super difficult to get it going. There's so many facets and things. It's this constant learning curve. And we've stuck with it, and I think it's doing good. And I think over the next year, it'll grow into a much more probably sophisticated site. But this site's fun. It's all based around whether it's elegant all the way down to, your really great, just fun stuff and all the little
nipple
trinkets
or whatever.
Literally we kind of try to throw a sample of it all in there, and then we invite the community and everyone, tell us what you want. We'll put it in there. Like we want to cater to that community, because I think it's an untapped market that people see as taboo or wrong or whatever. And so look up, theme knot, and you just don't find anything. So you have to get really creative. So we just wanted to kind of use that as our passive income in our business, and moving. Obviously, I needed a new job, and so this is it. This is it for us, and it's something we can do together, and hopefully in the future work together and be together all the time. Yep. It should be fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. So I have a quick question about it, because probably a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I just go to Amazon and find that stuff." What makes you guys better than Amazon for this type of service?
So I don't think that we're better than Amazon at all. I think everybody has their platform, and they have the place where they want to be, and they're not going to find it on Amazon. A lot of the stuff is not going to be there. And I know that because I struggled. Like we would go to an event, and I literally would end up in Dillard's going, well, this will work. And if I've done it, promise you, every other guy out there that's gone to events has had the same struggle. You can't find it. Not in Texas anyway, not anywhere that I've known to shop. You can't find this stuff. I'm a big eBay, Amazon guy. It's not there. You don't have it. It does not exist. So you may find one or two items, but it's a real struggle. And so most people are going to spend hours and hours trying to find whatever they want. So we just really want and have found a lot of really cool avenues to be able to find items. We prefer not to have long shipping times, and so we're struggling with that, to where we're buying some of it and shipping it ourselves, which I like a lot better. But we want one site that can have everything. If it can be found or made, we customize all kinds of stuff. We customize shirts, customize mugs, whatever you want to customize. Mm-hmm. So you literally have anything you can think up. And we wanted to have that kind of environment to where you can go to one site and have it. And if it's not there, it can be gotten on that site within 24 hours.
And we're part of the community. Right. I mean, we've actually been to takeovers and events and clubs, and we understand that side of it, and we're a part of that. And so you're not just kind of randomly doing something that you hope no one else has that understanding. So it's really unique. I think that we're a part of the community, and that we have the store instead of just throwing in a couple of things that work for people in the community. I love being a part of it and understanding when somebody asks you for, whatever it is, and they try and explain it. Oh, I get it. I absolutely get that. Absolutely. We want to help them achieve whatever that look is for that night and make it simpler. So I like that we're a part of it and it's near and dear to us. And we get to meet cool people like you guys that are in the community. It's, for me, that's the side of it. I think that would make us different from Amazon is right. There is a personal thing behind it that connects us with this community.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wasn't implying that you were going to necessarily be beat Amazon. It was that for the purpose, you are a better fit for for this community.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Well, we want to be that company that is nimble, and I think that's the key. Especially when you're trying to have a niche market, you should be nimble, and nimble would just simply be, I really like that dress, or I really like this outfit, but it doesn't fit what we're wanting. We're wanting that sort of idea, but could you do a whole line for us? Can you put together an entire product line just for this particular event coming up in 6 months? And who could do that? So yeah, we can literally spend a few days putting together an entire product line for a one night deal, or if they're going to have, the third Thursday be this particular deal throughout the year. I think the customization for individuals or for companies is the thing that makes it unique.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing and doing the work you're doing. I think that it is a niche market that needs someone. I think it's a really good
people
idea.
Who care. I think that's the big part. And for people to know that you're real people, and that if they send an email over there, it's probably one of you two, that's going to respond. And,
it's one of us.
Maybe someday one of your kids, but not today. But.
Not today.
No. So awesome. Well, thank you both for coming on, for sharing the story, and for talking about another resource to give people. We're always happy to find new things, and we're excited to help you guys hopefully grow and take off.
Well, we appreciate what you guys are doing. So this has been, we're very grateful that you reached out to us, and grateful that you've taken the time that you've taken out as well to go through our website to talk to us and actually care. So it's been fun.
Great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. Let's talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thanks again.
Bye.
We're back.
I assume everybody went and looked up what a G22 was.
during the interview.
Well, yeah. They probably hit pause and went and looked it up immediately.
Okay.
And they were like, oh.
And then they ordered some My One condoms?
I would assume so. I don't know. They would have had to measure their penis.
Yeah.
I guess they could have.
Yeah, they could have.
Anyway, thank you, Brandy and Will, for taking some time to come on and share with us, and for creating the store. That's super awesome, and we're excited to see it grow and take off.
Yeah.
Watch out, Amazon.
I know. If you're curious, go and check out their website. It's friendsoftheLS.com.
And there are links in our show notes and at normalizingnonmonogamy.com, which we didn't mention in the intro, but we figure you know our website by now.
Yes. You can find lots of stuff on our website, and go check it out. Now, we didn't do the Monday thing.
Oh, fuck. We're going to have to go back and put that in. All right, we'll go back and put that in.
Wednesday, so in 2 days, we have another interview, and this is with Brian.
Yeah, he reached out a little while ago and came on to share what a lot of people have been asking, well, not a lot, but some, about times that non-monogamy hasn't worked. And it's a really interesting story because, as you'll kind of see, he doesn't really blame non-monogamy for it. He actually blames non-monogamy for helping his marriage last longer than it would have had they not opened their relationship. So it's a really fascinating story, and we hope you guys enjoy it, and we will see everybody on Wednesday.
Yeah, we forgot it for Monday.
Well, we're gonna go fix that right now.
Okay.
The magic of editing.
Magic of editing. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.